Isabella, you really want to change your nationality? Accept our invitation to become the head coach of the United States women's national swimming team. On the other end of the phone, the man's voice was full of excitement. I nodded, feeling quite certain inside. But I have some requests. Please help me completely erase all traces of me in the United States, so that no one can find me. Although the man's Mandarin was not very fluent, he agreed firmly. You can rest assured. The United States will fully support you, helping you solve all your problems. I looked at the photos of my fiancé and my assistant on my phone. I smiled faintly. Thank you. After hanging up the phone, I walked out of the cafe and found everything around me was a vast white. How strange. It actually snowed in spring. I felt a bit dazed. It seemed I could hear that energetic young boy softly singing in my ear. They said they fell in love in the snow. Even promises made in freezing temperatures won't break. At that time, Nathaniel's eyes were shining brightly. He told me with a very serious tone, Isabella, we will never part, to be honest. I used to dislike winter the most, but because of his words, I began to like this season. Sadly, when the snowflakes melted in my palm, that promise truly shattered. Not long ago, I accidentally found out that Nathaniel was already with his little assistant. After going through a wave of intense emotions, I decisively accepted the goodwill of the United States. I had previously given up my favorite swimming pool for him. This time, I can let him go too, Nathaniel. This time, I've decided not to rely on you anymore. I lowered my head. I wanted to hide my emotions. I turned and walked into the snow, but I was tightly embraced by someone. Nathaniel rested his chin on my shoulder. His tone was filled with affection and a hint of complaint. Isabella, are you cold? We clearly agreed to try on wedding dresses together. Why did you come out alone? If you catch a cold by accident, I would be very worried. You know, I lifted my head. I saw his gentle gaze. Nathaniel gently brushed the snow off my head. Then he tidied his own hair. Suddenly, he smiled. Isabella, do you think we can grow old together? I didn't answer. I let his fingers gently trace my lips. HMPH. If white hair could be replaced by snow, then how could there be heartless people in the world, growing old together? Nathaniel, in this lifetime, we could never grow old together. In the bridal shop, I felt a bit blank. I let the staff measure various sizes for me. Nathaniel, sitting on the sofa, was staring at me intently. His eyes were filled with deep affection. The clerk beside us said with a hint of jealousy, Isabella, I'm really envious of you. To have someone like Nathaniel who loves you so deeply. You may not know this. I've been in this industry for so many years, and I've never encountered a groom who dotes on his bride like this. He is especially worried that you might feel slighted. After measuring your size, he immediately went to the best bridal shops in various countries to customize your wedding dress. I listened to all of this, feeling a mix of emotions inside. I was just about to say something when I was interrupted by a woman's voice. Excuse me, my boyfriend brought me here to try on wedding dresses today. We're going to need to clear the place soon. I hope those not involved can leave quickly. I turned my gaze towards the voice. I saw a slender girl walk into the store. Her eyes were crescent-shaped. It seems like she's secretly sizing up the man sitting on the sofa. This girl is Nathaniel's little assistant, Sophia. There is a strong sense of challenge in her eyes. Just like 3 months ago, her hand rests on my shoulder. She whispers in my ear with a dismissive tone. Isabella, don't think you'll always stay on top. Look, what is this? She sent a few photos. I'm a bit nervous. I opened them one by one. The first one is a bloodstain on the hotel's white sheets. It's particularly striking. The second one is a trash can filled with umbrellas. The number is truly surprising. The third one is a photo of Sophia and Nathaniel together. I see them tightly embracing. They are kissing so passionately. My heart nearly shattered. I fight back tears, but I hear Nathaniel asking me in a flustered voice, "What are you doing here?" I naturally look towards him. He says, Isabella, this is my assistant, Sophia. I didn't expect her to be here too. If I had known she was coming, I would have taken you abroad to choose a wedding dress directly. How could she be in the same bridal shop as my Isabella? I didn't say anything. Sophia said with a hint of sadness, Of course, my boyfriend can't compare to Nathaniel. Everyone knows Nathaniel's feelings for Isabella. She wanted to say something else. Nathaniel quickly pulled me away. Not even 10 minutes later, he stopped the car by the roadside with an apologetic look. Isabella, there's an urgent matter at the company. I need to rush over. I've already arranged for a driver to take you home. You wait here for a moment. After saying that, he hurriedly walked away. leaving only an empty car behind. I hesitated for a moment and got out of the car. I followed him. Sure enough, he went back into that bridal shop. I cautiously followed inside. I only saw two people hugging intimately. The man said in a low voice, "Didn't I tell you before to avoid Isabella?" Sophia pouted. "Don't worry, I won't let her know. She just misses you too much. We haven't seen each other for several days." Nathaniel swallowed. He picked up Sophia and walked towards the fitting room. Soon, ambiguous sounds came from inside. I couldn't bear to listen any longer. I hurried back to the villa. About 4 hours later, Nathaniel rushed back from outside. He was holding a large bouquet of lysianthus. He smiled widely and hugged me. "Isabella is so well-behaved." She sat on the sofa and patiently waited for my return. "It's all because I was too busy with work, making Isabella wait for so long." He handed me the bouquet. The love on his face was almost overflowing. "Isabella, the language of lysianthus is sincere and unchanging love. My feelings for you will not change." I force a smile, but inside I feel very lost. He was just with another woman, and now he comes to talk to me about love. Isn't that too ironic, thinking about what I just saw? I feel a wave of nausea. Tears flow down unconsciously. Nathaniel notices my change. The smile on his face instantly disappears. He asks nervously, "Isabella, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell?" I bite my lip tightly. My body trembles uncontrollably. I don't know how to hide the pain in my heart, seeing me in tears. Nathaniel feels helpless. "Isabella, I'm sorry. It was my fault. Isabella, it's all because I came back too late. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left you alone for so long. I will definitely not do this again in the future. Isabella, please don't cry, okay?" He didn't know what to do. He lowered his head and kissed my face several times. "Isabella, be good. Stop crying. Seeing you cry hurts my heart." I didn't respond to him, but when I looked up again, I saw many kiss marks on his neck. The emotions that had just calmed down collapsed once more. It turns out Nathaniel was too lazy to even pretend. "You really think I'm a fool?" A wave of sadness washed over me. I couldn't cry anymore. Instead, a smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. Seeing that my mood had improved, Nathaniel seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. He took out a red velvet gift box from his pocket. He handed it to me with a face full of expectation. "Isabella, I know I was wrong, so I brought you a gift. I promise you will definitely like it." After Isabella accepted the gift, "Let's not be angry with each other anymore." "Okay," I didn't answer. "It's just the beginning of opening the gift box." Inside is a royal gemstone necklace. It's something I have long desired. Nathaniel found out. He wanted to spend a lot of money to buy it for me, but that necklace was already privately collected. No matter how much he was willing to pay, the other party showed no interest. I'm suddenly very curious. It never worked out before. How come it's so easy to obtain now? But he seems to know what I'm thinking. He said gently, "Isabella, this necklace was given to us by its owner. He said he was moved by our sincere love, and he is willing to give it to those who truly love each other." He particularly emphasized the phrase "those who truly love each other." "Isabella, put it on quickly. I can't wait to see it." I picked up the necklace and then threw it back into the box. "Today I'm not feeling well. I'll wear it another day." Nathaniel looked a bit disappointed, but it's not good to force it. Suddenly, he patted his head. He said apologetically, "Isabella, today is your period, right? I'll go make you some brown sugar water." He strode into the kitchen. Before long, Sophia sent a provocative message. She asked Isabella. It was her who was eavesdropping at the wedding dress shop today. Right. Was the scene more exciting than the photos, by the way? She also mentioned what gift Nathaniel gave her today to cheer her up. She sent me a selfie. The gemstone necklace is particularly eye-catching. My mood suddenly became very complicated. Originally, it was just this couple showing off their love, but the other side kept sending messages. I originally had a real necklace and a fake one. The real one is with me, so guess what? Where do you think the fake one is? By the way, just to let you know, I'm pregnant. The child really misses his dad right now. I'll take him away first. My hands have been trembling. I feel an immense pain in my heart. The next moment, Nathaniel placed the brown sugar water in front of me. His tone was somewhat ashamed. "Speak. Isabella, something happened at the company again. I really don't want to leave you, but the company is about to go public. We can't mess this up now. Isabella, be obedient. Tonight you go to bed by yourself first. Don't wait for me." He didn't even take his coat. He just walked out, only I was left there in a daze. Morning. My phone kept ringing. Sophia sent me a lot of messages. She said she was pregnant, but Nathaniel still doesn't plan to let her go. He has been comforting her for over half an hour. I think I can share this with you. The man's voice was a bit hoarse. He asked, Sophia, you said you were pregnant. The woman responded with a soft laugh. Yeah, today feels a bit special. The other person fell silent for a moment, then said, let's have the baby. I will take good care of him, as long as Isabella doesn't find out. I'm willing to do anything for you. The voice message wasn't over yet. I just threw my phone away. I didn't expect Nathaniel already had a child. Nevertheless, he can still say he loves me like usual. I closed my eyes, but tears still streamed down when Nathaniel returned. My mood hadn't calmed down yet. He hurriedly hugged me. His voice sounded very anxious. Isabella, why are you crying? It's because my period came. Does your stomach hurt? I pushed him away with a bit of annoyance. I had a terrible dream. I dreamed of something bad. He kissed me, he said with concern. Isabella, don't be afraid. You can tell me anything. I will protect you well. Nathaniel held me in his arms, gently rocking me. I pushed him away once again. My voice trembled as I spoke. I dreamed that you betrayed me and had a child with another woman. You said, could such a thing really happen? I looked at him firmly. Nathaniel breathed a sigh of relief, but when he heard what I said, his expression became tense. Isabella, you know, in Nathaniel's heart there is only you. How could I betray you? That was just a dream. I have been through so much with Isabella. I would never do such a thing. I'm sorry. Isabella, it's all because I've been too busy with work. That made you overthink. He kept saying sweet nothings. I didn't expect to be interrupted by a sudden ringing phone. He frowned. He seemed a bit impatient. Without even looking, he hung up the phone, but the phone kept ringing. It just kept ringing like that. I didn't want to be polite with him either. I thought maybe there was something urgent, so I decided to answer it. Nathaniel's eyes showed some hesitation, but in the end, he still answered the call. As soon as he picked up, his expression immediately became serious. He quietly said, I'll be there right away. Then he hurriedly hung up. He looked at me with guilt once again, still the same old excuse. Isabella, there's something going on at the company. Maybe he didn't even realize it himself. In a short period of time, his company has suddenly had issues 3 times. But I'm already not interested in listening. Go ahead. Company matters are more important. I'll be going out soon too. I don't know why. Nathaniel feels particularly anxious. Has Isabella already noticed? This thought just popped up. He immediately dismissed it. That won't happen given Isabella's personality. If she found out, she would definitely leave right away. She won't find out. He repeatedly comforted himself in his heart. It's okay. Nothing unexpected will happen. He took a deep breath. She kissed me on the forehead, then turned and left the villa. Nathaniel hadn't walked long when he saw Sophia, who had called him. His expression became serious. He forcibly pulled her aside. He said coldly, haven't I already told you not to let Isabella notice you? Isabella is the most important to me. Don't challenge my bottom line again. Sophia's eyes were a bit red. She said, Nathaniel, I and the baby in my belly miss you very much. I'm just here to check on you. Nathaniel held her in his arms. His tone softened. All right, baby, I shouldn't have been so harsh on you as long as you behave. I can promise you anything. Is that okay? Sophia's eyes were filled with tears, but her gaze revealed her thoughts. Then I want to try it in the pool you built for her. Is that all right? I know there's an indoor pool. Nathaniel refused without hesitation. No, he noticed a change in Sophia's expression. He quickly explained, Isabella is a germaphobe. The pool is her biggest concern. Let's change the location. But Sophia was unwilling. She insisted. I just want to try before you get married. There won't be another chance after that. She gently shook his arm. Like a little kitten being cute, Nathaniel ultimately lost. He helplessly rubbed his forehead. Let's just say it once. Sophia gave him a kiss. Then he held her and walked towards the pool. The two were completely immersed in each other's world in the water. They were completely oblivious to what was happening upstairs. I painfully clutched my chest. Curling up in the corner, I thought at this moment, my heart would no longer hurt. I didn't expect him to ruin even my last beautiful memories. This pool was personally built by Nathaniel. It took 3 years, just to give me a surprise. I still remember the love and tenderness in his eyes back then. What about now? The sound of water kept going. It seemed to have no intention of stopping. My heart was beating heavily. It felt like I was about to suffocate. I shook my hand and dialed a number. Please come pick me up now. I'm ready to go to the United States. After hanging up the phone, I turned on the recording mode. Point the phone at the swimming pool downstairs. Adjust the focus. Then I left without hesitation. Nathaniel, this is the last gift I'm giving you. I hope you like it. 1 hour later, Nathaniel realized his behavior was somewhat reckless. He was holding a gentle and lovely person by his side, yet he occasionally glanced at the second floor of the villa. Sophia timely asked, Nathaniel, why aren't you focused? Nathaniel's eyes flickered. He gently kissed her forehead. Sophia still seemed somewhat unsatisfied. She said with a hint of moisture in her tone, Isabella is just upstairs. Isn't that exciting? Nathaniel froze instantly. He hurriedly pushed her away. He rushed upstairs. His hands were trembling. He opened the door, but in the next moment, he was stunned. The room was neat and tidy, not a speck of dust. Nathaniel walked around the room. He found everything just as it was before. He remembered Isabella had said she was going out. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Isabella is not at home. There was no way to find out. He pressed on his throbbing temples. Suddenly, he felt Sophia hugging him from behind. Nathaniel's voice was cold. He asked, How did you get in? This is my home with Isabella, Sophia said in a seductive tone. I want to try it on your and her bed. Is that okay? Nathaniel's expression turned very poor. He forcefully pried her fingers apart. He warned in a low voice. You're going too far. He continued. I have already warned you. Don't challenge my bottom line over and over again. Sophia was pushed away by him, but still did not give up. Strangely enough, Nathaniel had previously treated her almost however he wanted, but for some reason, he felt very annoyed. He rubbed his temples. He said somewhat impatiently, I can give you a large sum of money to send you away to have a child. From now on, we are done. Sophia was taken aback. She hurriedly grabbed his arm. Nathaniel, weren't we just... She wanted to continue speaking, but Nathaniel's cold gaze made her hesitate. Then he said, also, you'd better not let Isabella know about us. Otherwise, you really don't want to know what I would do. Sophia's expression turned very ugly. She hurriedly left the villa as soon as she left. Nathaniel called the butler with disgust. Clean this place up. Also, the water in the pool needs to be changed. Be quick. Get everything done before Isabella comes back. Half an hour later, Nathaniel carefully checked every corner of the villa again. After confirming that there were no issues, he finally let out a sigh of relief. Then he checked the time. Isabella should be home soon. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. His heart was filled with warmth. That's really nice. He was about to marry his beloved Isabella. The more Nathaniel thought about it, the happier he became. So he put on an apron and went into the kitchen. He planned to cook a few dishes himself to surprise Isabella. After an hour and a half, he finally finished preparing all the dishes. Nathaniel looked at the delicious food on the table. A smile appeared on his face. Isabella would definitely be very happy. Time passed second by second, but he still hadn't seen her. Nathaniel glanced at his watch. He felt a little anxious. He frowned and dialed Isabella's number, but he only received a busy signal in response. Nathaniel kept dialing the number. No one answered at all. His complexion turned quite bad. Speak softly. Isabella, where are you? He is unwilling to accept it. He dialed the number again. At that moment, a familiar ringtone was heard from the bedroom upstairs. Hasn't Isabella gone out? How could her phone be here? Nathaniel was taken aback. He carefully walked up the stairs. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. The phone was still ringing. Isabella, have you returned? He pushed the door open, but saw that there was nothing inside. On the balcony, the phone was ringing cheerfully. Nathaniel hurried over to pick up the phone. He found it was stuck on the video screen. His mind went blank in an instant. A thought suddenly flashed in his mind. He could only tremble as he reached for it. He began to check the video. The video contained every tangled moment between Sophia and him. Nathaniel originally wanted to delete the video, but accidentally clicked save. The phone started playing the video automatically. His body is tense. He stares blankly at the screen until the sound of the video slowly fades away. Only then does he come to his senses. He huddles in the corner. His eyes are filled with despair. Nathaniel feels like the whole world has collapsed. He collapses helplessly to the ground. His body shakes violently. Isabella discovered his betrayal, so she chose to leave him. He keeps muttering to himself, this can't all be a lie, but the reality before him leaves no room for disbelief. He dares not think about how Isabella felt when she recorded this video, but Nathaniel only feels nauseous. He slaps himself hard. His face burns with pain. Everything in the bedroom remains the same. There are still a few strands of long hair on the bed. All of this reminds Nathaniel what he has done. Clearly, he loved Isabella so much. Clearly, he was about to marry Isabella. But now, everything is over. He ruined everything by himself. The guilt inside surged like a tide. It almost drowned him. Nathaniel's eyes were red. Isabella, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I deeply regret my decision back then. Isabella, please come back. Okay, Isabella, I really did wrong. He knelt on the ground, continuously apologizing, but all around was silence. Nathaniel felt his heart was about to break. He curled up on the bed, deeply inhaling the scent left by Isabella. After the tears had flowed out, he fell asleep in pain. The next day, Nathaniel woke from his haze. Reality lay before him. He had to face it. So he pulled himself together, using all resources to search for Isabella. But no matter how much manpower and money he spent, Isabella still hasn't been heard from. There's no news of her anywhere. Even the police can't find her identity information. It's as if Isabella never existed. Nathaniel is almost in despair. Isabella, you can't treat me like this. No matter how you see me, no matter how disappointed you are in me, I will keep looking for you. Keep looking for you. His eyes showed a hint of confusion. Suddenly, he saw Isabella's fallen phone. Nathaniel's hands trembled as he unlocked the phone. He wanted to find some clues. Instead, he discovered the chat history with Sophia. This is simply a one-sided challenge. He bit his lip as he finished reading. The pain in his heart was almost unbearable. The strange behavior of Isabella recently finally makes sense. It turns out Isabella knows much more than he thought. Nathaniel forced a bitter smile. His heart was filled with despair. He understands better than anyone. His relationship with Isabella is completely over. Isabella is very concerned about the things around her. Can't tolerate even the smallest matters in my heart. She should have walked away when Sophia first provoked her, but she chose to endure. But the result was, Sophia not only didn't hold back, but instead became even more excessive. She even did that kind of thing by Isabella's favorite pool. Nathaniel's expression turned very grim. He felt nauseous, but couldn't throw up anything. He flipped through the chat history again and again. Sophia, you really disappoint me. Nathaniel gritted his teeth. His eyes were filled with anger. He took a deep breath and made a call. 10 minutes later, bring Sophia to me, quickly. Sophia was soon brought to the villa. Nathaniel looked at her. His gaze was very cold. What did you say to Isabella? Did I not tell you not to let Isabella know you were here? Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, but she still held her ground verbally. Nathaniel, I love you so much. That's why I acted so impulsively. Nathaniel, I just want our child to have a good future. What's wrong with that? Nathaniel laughed instead of getting angry. What do you deserve? You're nothing but a plaything. How dare you still wish for something that doesn't belong to you? How can you say that to my Isabella? The things I gave you were charity. Your necklace isn't worth anything. The things I gave you were all things Isabella didn't want. Sophia was stunned. She looked at him in disbelief. Nathaniel, I love you so much. How can you treat me like this? I'm still carrying your child. Nathaniel looked at her. His expression was cold. I once said that Isabella is my bottom line. If you touch her, you will regret it. Then, someone took her away. A recent abortion surgery has been arranged. Then she was sent far away. Let her fend for herself. After hearing these words, Sophia began to struggle desperately. No, I was wrong, please, don't hurt my child. Nathaniel looked at her coldly. He waved his hand in disgust. Sophia continued to struggle desperately, crying out in despair. No, please, don't hurt my child. She was quickly taken away by the bodyguards. Nathaniel did not look at her. He just stared blankly at the villa, except for the absence of the mistress. Everything else remained unchanged. Isabella left without even packing her bags. Nathaniel sat on the sofa, feeling lost. His gaze was hollow. He remembered the time when Isabella was still here. He had held her here and kissed her, but now everything has changed. The villa is cold and desolate. It lacks any vitality. Everything in front of him only reminds him of her. United States, airport. I just got off the plane. Someone came to help me with my luggage. Isabella, long time no see. The person who came is my junior, Lucas. We were both chosen by the same coach. We can be considered as fellow disciples. I took special care of this introverted junior back then, after I made my relationship public. Lucas withdrew from the national team. I didn't expect he actually joined the United States national swimming team. I couldn't help but laugh. I thought it was too coincidental. What are you doing here? Lucas shrugged. It seems it's because of our head coach's welcome. He extended his hand. He said seriously, I am the assistant coach of the United States women's national swimming team. Lucas, in the days to come, I hope Isabella can guide me more. I was momentarily stunned. My hand extended naturally as the two shook hands. Lucas trembled a bit nervously. A hint of a smile appeared in my eyes as well. I quickly withdrew my hand. I said with a smile, Lucas, it's been a long time. Lucas said with a smile, from now on, we'll see each other every day. We left the airport and headed straight to the national team. Although my performance as an athlete was outstanding, there were still doubts about my coaching abilities. How can someone with no coaching experience be a coach? What right does she have? That's right. How can she be our head coach? Faced with the questions from a group of blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls, I simply smiled faintly, just as I was about to speak. Lucas spoke first. His voice was very serious. Just because she is Isabella, that's enough. She is a world champion. Her strength is exceptional. Everyone was surprised. Lucas's tone became worse. He showed great disrespect to the head coach. He said everyone had to practice for an extra 3 hours today. Although the girls were complaining, they ultimately had to obey. I was a bit surprised. I remember this junior was originally very gentle. Didn't expect him to be so strict when punishing others. Lucas didn't say anything. He just stared at me intently. He turned his head and smiled gently. His tone was very soft, because they had some doubts about Sister Isabella. I suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. I turned my head and blinked awkwardly. Why do I have this strange feeling? Living in the United States, I adapted quickly, mainly because Lucas handled everything for me, big or small. I only needed to focus on leading the training. Days went by. Days pass one by one, slowly. Only then did I realize this. I haven't heard the name Nathaniel in a long time. His shadow gradually fades away. Another man slowly entered my life. Lucas, I softly spoke. With tenderness in my eyes, I have to admit, I have fallen in love with him. This love came too quickly. I didn't have time to react. But when we are together, I have to admit, this love makes me feel intoxicated. Lucas is truly an ideal partner. He is gentle and considerate, and he respects me a lot. His affection is so sincere that it's hard to refuse. During the day, we are busy training. In the evenings, we always go on dates together. In the evening, we would walk by the lake, breathe in the fresh air, enjoy the sunset. On weekends, we would stay at home, watch movies, enjoy the rare time to relax. This kind of life. Every day, every moment, I feel especially happy, but life cannot always be this peaceful. No one knows how Nathaniel came to the United States. When I saw that familiar figure, I paused for a moment. I need to leave quickly, but the next second, I was tightly embraced from behind by him. Isabella, that's great. It really is you. Isabella, I finally found you. Nathaniel's voice trembled slightly. I tried to struggle, but he held me even tighter. Let go of me. But Nathaniel seemed not to hear. He just held me tightly. Isabella, I'm really sorry. Please come back. Without you, I really feel miserable. I'm sorry. Isabella, it was my fault. Can we start over? The man's voice trembled. Tears flowed uncontrollably. I promise you, I won't do this again. Isabella, can you give me another chance? I will make up for all my mistakes. Isabella, Nathaniel hasn't finished speaking. He was punched by Lucas, who came rushing in. Lucas protected me behind him. Another punch hit Nathaniel's face. Get out of the way. Don't touch her. Nathaniel was knocked back a few steps. He seemed a bit stunned. Are you really together? This guy Lucas hasn't given up on you for years. He liked you back then. Now he's taking the opportunity again. Isabella, are you being deceived by him? You clearly said you only loved me before. I just made a small mistake. How could that make you change your heart? Nathaniel's eyes were filled with anger. He stared fiercely at Lucas. What right do you have to stand with her? After all these years of our relationship, what qualifications do you have to interfere? Lucas sneered and asked, on what basis? Because I am her lover. Because my love for her is deeper than yours. In fact, I have already let go to support you both. It was you who hurt Isabella. You were clearly about to get married. Yet you betrayed your feelings for her. Lucas's words struck Nathaniel directly. It caused him great pain. Nathaniel's face turned pale. He wanted to say something but couldn't utter a word. A long time passed. He stammered. Isabella, I was just confused at that time. Can you forgive me? I have already sorted things out with Sophia. From now on, I will only love you. Isabella, can we break up? I kneel down to apologize to you. Can we get back together? Nathaniel sat on the ground in despair. He slapped his face hard, again and again. I'm sorry. Isabella, it's my fault. Isabella, can you forgive me? I'm begging you. I'm truly begging for your forgiveness. The man's voice sounds pitiful, full of pleading, but I haven't even looked at him once. At this moment, I'm holding Lucas's hand, gently rubbing it. Why did you hit him? Does it still hurt? Lucas, I don't need you to take revenge for me. Hitting him will only get you into trouble. I speak softly. My eyes are filled with concern. I no longer love Nathaniel. Now I just find him disgusting. He's not worth me wasting any feelings on him. I look up at Lucas. Feigning a pout, I say, let's go, don't worry about him anymore. Lucas gently patted my head. He pulled me into his arms. He replied, okay, let's go. The two of them slowly left. Nathaniel was left standing there, feeling quite awkward. He looked like he had lost his spirit. His gaze was vacant. Nathaniel understood. I no longer love him, and I won't forgive him again. In the lounge, when I heard about Nathaniel again, it had already been 6 months. He passed away at home due to excessive drinking. He was found dead. The news quickly made the headlines. I let out a gentle sigh. My heart felt very calm. He brought it upon himself. Lucas threw the newspaper into the trash can. He wrapped his arms around my waist. Don't read such news anymore. It affects your mood. I obediently nodded. I took the initiative to kiss him on the lips. His Adam's apple moved slightly. He responded to me passionately, respond to me enthusiastically. We kissed passionately, but we were interrupted by the crisp sound of a shutter. So it's those girls from the national team. I really like this pair, so sweet. Their looks match so well. Wishing them the best. Hope they stay together forever. Lucas and Isabella make a great couple. I suddenly turned red, shyly pushed Lucas away. He didn't move. Instead, he held me tighter. You little ones. Not bad at all. Today's training is reduced by 2 hours. We can have the evening off. A few girls cheered happily. They immediately ran away. Lucas watched them leave. He chuckled softly. I have to show them. How sweet our Lucas and Isabella pair is. His tone slowed down. Every word is so tempting, don't you think? Wifey, I'm even more scared now. Gently gave him a tap. Don't talk nonsense. Lucas held her, gently smelled my hair. I'm not just saying this casually. Wife. He hugged me tighter, lowered his head and kissed me deeply.